evening, Mr. Clamola. How are you?
Oh, hello, Mr. Sam. How are you?
Okay, so you're Mr. Clamola, but I'm just Mr. Sam, or did you forget my last name?
No, Gorm, I did not forget your last name.
It's amazing, Leroy. We just started the show and my comment machine is already broken.
It's already
wild.
broken?
It's wild how it works that way sometimes.
I don't know why somebody's so excited. It took overtime to get anything done in a game that they probably, if you played it 7 times in a row, I think would be pretty even between you two teams.
Yeah. I mean, it was a great football game.
Also, I did, because I want to thank the Bengals, because thanks to Burrow and Chase, I lost in fantasy this week because they both decided to go off for my opponent, who sat Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins had a huge game, and he sat him, but then Burrow and Chase played, and they destroyed me. So thank you, Cincy.
Yeah, you're welcome. That was very happy, and it was one of those things that is a Bengals loss. That was a Bengals loss. No, Robert Saleh will not be the next Bengals head coach. Zach Taylor's not going anywhere. I've already ranted about that enough for the last hour on our podcast that it's just stupidity to even mention.
It was, though, and Dan's right. If you, like, for me, being fairly impartial, although I will admit that I root for the Bengals as my AFC team, for a guy who's impartial, that was a fantastic football game. If you look at it from an outsider's point of view, fantastic football game.
It's one of those games that it sucked that it was at 1:00 on a Sunday.
Yeah, because if that's a primetime game, that's all the media is talking. That's all the media is talking about the next day.
This was a great game. It was a great football game. It had everything you want. If you like offense, absolutely. Was it game of the year? I don't think it can be game of the year because it was 1:00 on a Sunday. And should that be the case? No, but I think that because of that, it won't be classified as game of the year. But it was a great football game. And I mean, listen, Bengals Chiefs was a great football game a couple of years ago as well. But Bears took down the Fighting Andy Daltons.
They did. And listen, there were a lot of people that
to DJ Moore. Finally decided to do something for my fantasy team, but I still lost my fantasy game.
There are a lot of people that will say, well, it was just Carolina. And that's true. It was just Carolina. But those are the games that you have to win. Those are the games where listen, I can't tell you. The last time as a Bears fan, I sat through 4 quarters and was not upset at all during the 4 quarters. Usually if I watch a Bears game, there's at least 1 quarter. Despite what the final score is, there's 1 quarter where I'm just furious with my team.
Where you would reach for the pain meds?
Right. I can't tell you the last game that I watched of the Chicago Bears where I watched all 4 quarters and was like, this is nice. It doesn't happen. So the fans needed that game. The fans needed a game where they just came in, they destroyed them. DJ looked good. Caleb looked good. Everyone looked very, very good. And those are the wins that you need. Are we deciding that, John, after 5 games? Are we deciding that? Is that over? We've decided that?
Yep,
it's over. That's already okay. All right, just checking.
We have to have somebody in our comments section be anti-Caleb Williams. And since Paul hasn't joined yet, John's just taking it on himself that somebody has to be against Caleb Williams.
And in the 30 seconds that we've talked about this, another Colts player has hurt himself.
Oh, wow. Now you're taking shots now, too. I thought this was a friendly show where we don't take shots at one another. I mean, I never take shots at anybody on this podcast. I am just Switzerland when it comes to it. But how about we recap the pick contest from last week, because we had a first, at least a first for the year, and I meant to go back and look last year of whether this happened at all the entire season. In fact, I can do that as we're talking. But our weekly pick contest had a big week last week. It started off Grayson County and North Bullitt. Big game on the road. America and Leroy both went with the Cougs, and the Cougs came away with a big win. Leroy. On the other side of it,
we have to talk about that.
On the other side of it, in fact, I'm looking, Leroy, I can confirm that something that happened this week had never happened in the history of the pick contest. But Taylorville and Effingham I continued my hot streak of picking the opposite of what should have happened for Taylorville and Effingham, because Effingham loses 42-41 and Taylorville wins.
In one of the greatest football games that I've ever seen in my life. And I'm so furious
that you were on the call.
I'm so furious. It came down to a missed extra point from a guy who hasn't missed all season. A guy who had made every extra.
So it was 42-41 and he missed the extra point?
41. It was 41. Oh, I'm going to mess this up. It was 41-35 because Effingham missed their extra point.
Okay.
Taylorville scored a touchdown as time expired. Or no, in overtime. They scored a touchdown in overtime. And then so that tied it up. So now we're tied up again. I forgot this game went to overtime. It was a crazy, crazy game. And we did the 2-point conversion to come away with the win. As our quarterback got his ribs knocked out of him as he got taken out. So I gotta wait and see what Tim said about his injury update for our quarterback. But I'm telling you, like, if you want to watch a really, really good football game, go to Tommy TV, check that game out. I'm telling you, like, it was, I'm not exaggerating. It was fantastic. There were multiple times where Taylorville could have easily thrown that game away. Effingham was the better team, but Taylorville just didn't go away, and they got rewarded with a big, big, big home win.
Northwestern and Indiana, we all went with Indiana. That was correct. There was a game in Cincinnati we don't need to talk about. Bears, we mentioned that. Missouri at Texas A&M. Leroy, you went with Missouri.
I know, and I'm so heartbroken for that.
So Dan, to answer your question, no, he did not go 100%
because no, he did not.
Texas A&M won by at least $1 million. At least $1 million. Barron says he's fine.
Okay.
Is that Barron? Is he the quarterback?
Quarterback, yes.
Okay. Hawaii at San Diego State, a big game that everyone was looking forward to, Leroy. San Diego State won. It was a close game, though. We all picked San Diego State. Dallas took on the city near West Virginia, and it was the Cowboys. Them boys won.
Barely.
And then the big one, Navy and Air Force. Leroy cannot pick Navy, so he picked Air Force, and Navy won. Which brings us to, out of 8 potential points, Leroy, 5 points. Myself, 7 points. My lone miss was Taylorville for the second straight week. And in first place last week, getting 8 out of 8, 100% was America.
Wow.
First time
hey,
ever got 100% with at least, I mean, technically, we all got 100% week 1 because there was only one game, so that doesn't count. But with at least like a fair share, America got 100% last week.
The overall standings, America's been awful for the last 3 weeks.
The overall standings in third place with 29 points is America. In second place with 31 points is Leroy. And in first place, up atop the rightful spot, is myself with 35. So I have a 4-point lead on you, Leroy. You have a 2-point lead on America. So you and America are colliding a little bit. And the question is later on in the show is, which way do we head this week? When I'm here, America does well, John says. Is that the case? Is that the case? I don't know.
I guess you just can't miss anymore, John.
You're now, 12 days out from your date underneath of the scalpel, right?
Yeah. Go back and see the surgeon tomorrow.
How are you feeling?
I'm okay. I've had a little breakout. I'm not wearing makeup, although I should be because the sides of my face are really bright red.
In all seriousness, we say that every single show. I don't think that there's any changes in that. That we should both probably be wearing makeup. Like, we need as much help as we can.
We do. But arm wise, it comes and goes. There are times where it's sore, and then there are times where it feels like my other arm. So we'll see what happens when we go tomorrow and see what the doctor says, and hopefully we'll be able to get back to. I have to. I've got a busy weekend. I've got football on Friday, soccer on Sunday, and I got a bunch of other stuff that I have to do. So
John does bring an interesting
whether they like it
point
or not, I'm gonna have to go back to work at some point.
John does bring an interesting point though here, Leroy. Does Dan get to vote?
I don't know. He hates the Bears, so which is hysterical because he's a AFC fan. So I don't know why he's got a problem with the Bears.
I think he's got a problem with you.
Ah, that's right. That could
maybe that's what it is. It's like Paul. I don't know that Paul really is an issue with Caleb Williams. I think it's more so maybe
an issue with me.
Yeah, I think so. He just doesn't like people who stand under 5 feet tall. So maybe that's an issue. That's an issue. Maybe that's what
fair.
it is.
That's fair.
We'll have our picks of the week a little bit later on in the show. Some interesting matchups, including the Eyes tomorrow night. The Eyes tomorrow night. And right on cue, I mentioned Caleb Williams, and it's like Bloody Mary. You say it too many times.
Paul appeared.
And Paul Reeves appears. He has a Caleb Williams issue. It's not a Leroy issue. Well, there you go. So at least Paul doesn't hate you. Does that make you feel better?
No.
No? In all seriousness, though, and I know, Paul, you're a little to the north. Hope everyone is okay in Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Storm is massive, and I know it is. They think it's, and when they say better, they're using that term lightly, but it is at least improved.
Yeah, it's somewhat down to it. It's wider, but it's less wind. It's down to a Cat 3, but it's much wider,
which is still a massive storm.
It's hitting the area when I went down to Florida. It's hitting that area. So St. Pete, Tampa, Bradenton, Northport, that whole area right there. It's hitting head on. So I know a lot of that area down there, and man, I'm nervous for that because there's a lot of cool stuff and there's a lot of people in that area, man. And I hope they make it through this.
I honestly didn't know that Gary Harmon was right there in the middle of it. I'd forgotten that he's in that area. We got a lot of people in our jungle family who are in that area, definitely rallying around them as much as we can. MLB postseason has gone along, and Leroy, some interesting things happening. We have our first team in the NLCS, and it's the New York Mets.
Yeah, if you would have told me the Mets were going to be the first ones to wrap things up, I probably would have laughed at you, to be honest with you.
Dominated the Phillies in that series 3-1, and I'm very interested.
Lindor again proving that he is clutch, and when I say clutch, I mean he is a postseason player. Lindor is just when the postseason hits, and this goes back to 2015, 2016 when he was with the Indians. But Lindor is a.
Dare you say that name?
They were the Indians in 2016.
They're just Cleveland. You're supposed to refer to them as then.
I'm not doing it.
You're supposed to forget those that they were ever called that.
But yeah, I mean, he's been just postseason. He's amazing.
I'm really interested, and this has now become a thing with this new format. Because what are we in year 3 of this format?
Yep, we're once again the team that
got the bye.
The team that has
is
the
getting
time
knocked
off. Yep,
and I am fascinated.
That's right.
By whether that will cause a change. But here's honestly what I think they should do, Leroy, and how awesome would this be? And they've talked about it, and they would never do it, is you can even keep this format. But I think that the Dodgers, the 1 seed, they deserve it as the 1 seed. They get the pick. Say, do you want to play San Diego or do you want to play the Mets? And they get to pick which they play instead of seeding.
So they still get the time off, but they get to pick who they want to play first?
Or even if we change it up, I still think how great of television would it be if it's like, now let's go to the MLB Network. Dodgers, you get to pick of the 4 wildcard teams. Which wildcard team would you like?
ESPN would turn it into a 2-hour show, and that would be like a 5-minute conversation.
But you'd watch every second of it.
Every minute of it.
But how awesome would that be? They would never do it. But it would be like,
no.
Because I mean, imagine being the Dodgers as the 1 seed. and being like, okay, we want the Mets. Well, the Mets are going to come in all pissed off thinking, we're the, you think we're the worst team? What?
Yeah.
Which I think would be kind of fun. In the other NLCS, Padres lead the Dodgers 2-1. Padres going to do it?
Yep.
I think so too.
I tell you what, I've liked them. They've been hot. They've been hot for the last month and a half. They've been playing really, really good baseball, and I see Padres. Man, that Padres Mets series is going to be fantastic.
Yes, I agree completely. The Tigers lead the Guardians 2-1. That was both of our championship series pick. So I think that's a really good pick for them. And then the
Correct.
Royals
And I'm still riding them. I'm riding them all the way.
The Royals and the Yankees are currently tied 1-1 in the series overall. But the Yankees lead right now 3-2 in this. Actually, that is a final. So it's now Yankees 2-1. And I think the Yankees will probably win that, right?
Yeah, I have the Yankees beat. Listen, the Royals are my my homer pick just because I'm rooting for the underdog, but the Yankees are too powerful.
Yes, I agree. So you still rolling with Tigers as the ALCS champion?
Yep.
I do agree with that completely. And then the Padres or the Mets. Are we going to get a Subway Series?
No, but I wouldn't mind the Detroit Mets World Series. That'd be interesting.
So I guess Detroit Padres is what MLB doesn't want, right?
Right. Detroit San Diego is what they do not want.
And they probably want Yankees Mets, right?
Of course they do.
Or Yankees Dodgers probably. Yankees Dodgers is probably the one that they want more.
Ugh. Yeah, probably just because of Ohtani.
But
gosh,
Yankees
can you
Mets,
imagine the slobber knocking if Ohtani makes it to the World Series? Ugh.
But hey, I love Ohtani. The other big MLB news of the week, I mean, it's the biggest news of the week, Leroy, is it's time to back it up, Terry. Reds hired Terry Francona as their new manager. And Leroy sent me a message. He was in tears because he was so scared. Because he knows that the Reds are now going to win the World Series. Guaranteed next year. Guaranteed. I mean, it was
6 games.
I had to
6 games, old man.
And I was like, Leroy, it's okay. Like, I know that the Reds are probably going to go, I won't say 162-0, but they're probably going to go like, what, 150 and 12?
Fine. If they go 150 and 12, I'll go jump in Lake Michigan, okay?
Well, you already have to do that if Northwestern beats Ohio State.
Yes,
I think,
yes.
you know, if the Reds go 150 and 12, you have to get a Cincinnati Reds tattoo on your forehead.
Fine.
Just wait. Watch. The Reds are going to turn in the greatest. And I just can't wait for Reds are 149 and 12 going into that last game of the season. They've got it clinched up. And if they win, Leroy has to get a tattoo on his face. But if they lose, Christy, the odds of that happening.
Christy, I got better odds of getting lucky tonight than that happening.
But Francona is the Reds manager now. I honestly, though, it's the best hire I think they could have got.
Out of the people that were available, because I tell you what, I wasn't exaggerating when I say a good amount of people, for some reason, want Barry Larkin in that spot. I know how you feel, but I'm just saying, like that was a very good, healthy population of Reds fans were going after David Ross, or were going after,
and see Reds fans. Larkin. And I know this is not just Reds fans, but for whatever reason, teams love to have we got to get the guy that played for us, and Francona did. Francona played for the Reds in 1 year, 1987. But it's like David Ross. Oh, he's a Red. Barry Larkin. Oh, he's a Red. He's from Cincinnati. It was same thing with there was a Miguel Cairo, who I actually think would have been a decent hire. Skip Schumacher played for the Reds.
Skip. Absolutely.
We have to have him, get him for that. But at the same time, I'm like, I think they probably got the best guy that they could have gotten.
100%. 100%.
Will it matter?
He's one of the best guys. He's one of the best minds in the game.
Oh, yeah. And he says that he's lost weight. He says he's feeling better. And that's just the question is you see this so often when guys that retire or whatever you want to call it because of health, and they come back. And it either works or in 1 year they realize they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And
so this is either going to be 150 and 12 or 12 and 150. Got it.
We're not the White Sox. Not even the White Sox are that bad. I think if the Reds go 12 and 150, you have to get a Reds tattoo in the middle of your forehead too.
No, you got to get a Cubs tattoo if that happens.
No, I can't do that. I can't do that. I know. You're at least married. I'm not. She has to love you. She's binded by law to care about you, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Depends on the day.
Right. Well, you don't make it easy sometimes, right?
That's true, but good buddy.
I guess I have to mention too, the NHL's a thing now.
Yeah, this opening couple days are going on right now. I know Chicago played Utah last night. Utah Hockey Club. I'm not making that up. That's literally their name.
Make them the Yetis.
Fine. At this point, I'm going with Storm and Mormons because we were laughing. We were having a good laugh over that one. But Yetis would be awesome. But no, some good hockey games. I watched a good portion of hockey yesterday. I know when everybody else was watching playoff baseball, I was watching hockey because I'm a forlorn Cubs fan and I gave up on baseball about 3 weeks ago. So it's enjoyable to have it back. And we're excited. Should be a good season. I know the Toronto got shut out tonight, but their goalie stopped like 47 shots. Most stopped a season opener. So already records being set here. There are other teams other than the Pittsburgh Penguins, John.
Sidney Crosby
yes, he's playing in his 20th season, and the other guys are playing in their 19th. So their core has been around forever, but they aren't doing very well. And John does not think they'll win a game this year. So he's embracing the tank.
Are they going to be better than the Blackhawks this year?
It'll be pretty close. But see, the Blackhawks are in year 3 of their rebuild, or year 2, depending on whose side you're on.
So has what's his name retired yet?
Huh?
Has what's his name retired, so he doesn't have to play for Chicago anymore yet?
Who? Kane?
No.
Kane's in Detroit.
What's the guy that what's his name? He's the Connor McDavid. No, he's the wrong guy. Connor
Bedard?
Yeah. Is he retired yet?
No. Oh. And he even got a couple of assists yesterday. So
real good players. Rick Nash would have scored goals instead of assists.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, hockey is a thing, and basketball. Everyone's getting ready for preseason basketball. I'll have some basketball tips in my tidbits.
Let's be real. Do we need basketball tips from you? We've talked about your coaching record.
Tidbits.
Okay.
I am not giving any basketball tips.
I thought you said I have basketball tips coming up in our tidbits.
I am not giving any tips on basketball whatsoever, my friend.
No, you do not, Mr. 72-2 or whatever the final score of that game was.
It was not 72-2.
It was pretty close. 79-2. Is that what it was? First tip: don't be short.
Hey, that's a good point. Unless you're a girl.
And you still have to be really good with that. Do you want to jump into some tidbits?
Yeah, we can. Aaron Rodgers claims he has nothing to do with Saleh's firing. Take that for what you will. The Jets had multiple meetings after Saleh was not allowed to talk to the team after he got fired, which, listen, really, this is a professional organization. Let the man talk to his teammates before you have security escort him out of the building.
And
what a
that's the thing.
joke.
Like Thala seems like a good enough guy to like let him pack up his office himself.
Yes. It's not like he's going to steal something from the Jets. Let's be real here.
Maybe he steals Aaron
so
Rodgers.
they had multiple team meetings. I think, their DC is taking over?
Correct.
Yeah, so that's what's going on there. Jaden Daniels says, do not compare me to Lamar. I am my own person. We play two different styles of football. Sure. Speaking of the NBA, the Lakers are playing all their preseason games on the road as the Crypto.com Center, Staples Center, because I'm 42. Staples Center is getting a renovation. LeBron isn't happy. Wanted to know why they're having a preseason game in Milwaukee. However, the NBA does not set up the team's preseason schedule. The team does. So both the Kings and the Lakers are on the road until October 24th. Lakers are not having any preseason games. Now, in the old days, they don't do it anymore, but in the old days, the United Center would be shut down for about 3 weeks when the circus would come to town, and they would have the Ringling Brothers Circus at the United Center.
The Bears would play there?
Yes. So both the Bulls and the Blackhawks would have to be on the road for like 3 weeks in like late October or early November, if I remember right. But yeah, they had no, John, he's not. Yeah, so that's set up for that. In NASCAR news, a lot of the drivers are upset over the NASCAR crash policy. For those of you who don't know, in the old days when Dale Earnhardt raced, and many of the guys that we all like to talk about, if your car broke down, as long as it was running, you could get it on the track. So you'd see cars that would be missing the hood, all taped up, cars that would be all beat up going around the track, because every lap counted, right? Every lap was a point, and every lap counted. Well, they're not allowed to do that anymore. You have a certain amount of time to fix your car in pit lane. Once that time limit hits, if you're not out on the track, you're done. Well, there was a 26 car, and I'm not exaggerating, a 26 car accident in Talladega on Sunday, which resulted in a lot of flat tires. Well, when you have a flat tire, you can't move your car. So if you're towed, you are considered out of the race. So the drivers were trying to drive back, and a lot of the drivers were upset because there was nothing wrong with their cars. They just needed tire changes. So there's a lot of the drivers are very upset with the NASCAR policies and saying, look, you all need to figure it out, because we understand that you don't want cars that are all beat up coming out on the track, but it's not fair to penalize a car who's caught up in a wreck when he wasn't actually wrecked. IndyCar announces a collaboration with the Dallas Cowboys and the Texas Rangers for the Arlington Grand Prix that will take place in 2026 in what is considered one of the biggest marketing strategies for IndyCar since the split happened. So looking to work with both the Dallas Cowboys and the Texas Rangers to make the circuit is like right around where the Cowboys play and right around where the Rangers play. So hopefully some good public publicity from that, and looking to be a big race in 2026. And in WNBA news, you don't need to play the music because it's literally just 2 seconds. The New York Liberty is taking on the Minnesota Lynx in the finals. That starts on October 10th. That'll be tomorrow night, game 1. New York Liberty versus Minnesota Lynx for the final that nobody cares about because Caitlin Clark is not in it.
Okay, I turned it off. There we go. Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to talk to you. Alabama lost to Vanderbilt.
They did.
And probably one of the biggest, one of the more bigger upsets that we've seen in college football. And I wanted to ask you, and I already know your opinion, and I'm going to ask you anyway because I'm a glutton for punishment. But Northwestern being a number 1 Ohio State, Vandy being a number 1 Alabama, are they the same? And if not, why do you which one's probably more important?
Say that again.
Vandy beats number 1 Alabama. Northwestern beats number 1 Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
Which one's bigger and why?
Vandy.
And why? Because I really want to know what your why is. Because they are both the same team. Actually, no, they're not. Northwestern's better than Vandy.
Yeah, Northwestern's had more sustained success in the last 20 years than Vandy has.
They did throw it in the river, Bert.
They did. And they literally marched it down Broadway.
Speaking of which, both teams were fined $150,000 and $200,000 or something like that.
Arkansas, yeah. Arkansas was fired. Alabama or Vandy was fined $100,000.
Yeah, that's right. And
because it was their first offense.
Yes,
because they don't ever do it. And then Arkansas was fined $250,000.
Yes, Vanderbilt's still unranked, but the Alabama dropped only 6 spots for losing, which a lot of people were very frustrated by that.
What's interesting at UK, and I'm just going to go full screen to show this really quick. What happens at UK is after the game, they have the goalposts on like a robot to where they will lower themselves to where the goalposts cannot be ripped down and stolen. So it's a cool story, isn't it? I thought so. Are you ready to cue the music?
Big thing for Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I'm happy for Vanderbilt without question. Really, really happy for them. And like Paul said, they never beat top 5 teams. And now guess who they play on Saturday?
You guys?
Kentucky.
Yeah.
The Kentucky Wildcats. Let's cue the music. Everyone's favorite segment. Now, what you stopped at me. I had nothing to do with the creation of these. It was all our compadre, Mr. Mick Nelson. So I shared my screen with him, and I said, which ones do you want? And then pick. So what AI usually does is gives me a couple of options. So I usually will pick one of them. So if you want to be mad, you're mad at both Mick and AI, not Sam. Understood? Okay. 1, 2, 3, or 4.
I'm mad at you.
Oh, yeah. You're hitting 402 as well. 1 out of 4 last week, though.
I saw it 2.
2. Number 2.
Dallas Cowboys. No.
Is not the Dallas Cowboys. Again, it's this simple. AI has recreated these images. Leroy, it's an easy game. He just has to tell me which school this is. Do you have a guess? Or do you have... And again, Leroy does have one sheet where I will show him the comments. Now, that doesn't always mean that it'll help you, Leroy. But...
So, I don't know why, but I feel like this would be AI's thoughts of what a Commodore is for Vanderbilt. But also, I was thinking Army as well. Those are Army colors. So, and Stars and Stripes. All right, yeah, I'll go with Army.
Army, is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Let's mute the music here. You are... It is Vanderbilt.
Ow!
Vanderbilt Commodores. So Paul Reeves gets that one correct. John was in agreement with you, though, if that makes you feel any better at all. Probably not. 1, 3, or 4.
See, that would have irritated me if I would have gone with the audience because I was split 50-50 between the two of them.
So it wouldn't have helped you.
That would have drove me nuts. Yeah, yeah.
1, 3, or 4.
We'll go with 4.
4. There's a lot going on in this logo.
Isn't that who Taylorville's facing this weekend?
Is Mattoon green?
Yeah. They're the Green Wave.
Oh, that's Meade County here. Alrighty. You got anything that's speaking to you here?
North Green. Boy, I am blanking. Let me go with the audience on this one.
Okay. Here's your audience comment. Bowling Green.
Okay.
And that's all.
Where's Forrest when I need him?
Where's Forrest? That's John's guess, is Bowling Green. Paula does not have a guess for this, which means he's stumped. I'll give you 10 seconds to see if Paul comes up with one. It does not appear that he has. So, Leroy, what is this? Leroy's logos for this week. And I will say, this is the hardest one.
I'll go with Northern Michigan.
Northern Michigan. Is that your final answer?
Yeah. It's Michigan State, isn't it?
Michigan State is his guess. And at the last second, Paul Reeves gets it right. North Texas. North Texas, the main green of North Texas. And it kind of says it in there.
Yeah, it does. It does. It does.
And shout out to Kelly. I haven't talked to her in a while. Kelly Coppinger. Have you talked to her recently? I have not.
I have not.
I think she went there, if my memory's right. Shout out to Kelly. I'm sure she's watching. 1 or 3. So
One.
you are out of your cheats. Number 1.
Oh, there we go. Maybe.
Just say it's not always a good sign. And you're like, yes, I know it.
No, you look at something and you're like, oh, okay. And then you're like, well, now, wait a minute.
Let you double guess yourself. And
yeah, I'm not doing that. Penn State.
Penn State, is that your final? First, final answer?
Yes.
Does this make you feel better or worse?
Yeah.
Penn State is his answer, and guess what? You're right. It is Penn State. The Nittany Lions. One, actually, AI, really good job on this one. Like that actually looks good. And your final one for Leroy's logos for this week.
Oh. Cool.
Okay, so actually, this is another one that's really cool. Anything speaking to you?
Rutgers.
Rutgers is his guess. Final answer. He's locking it in. What's your confidence level?
75. My other thought was San Diego State with the Aztecs.
I can see that. Let's see. We have a comment come in. I'm going to let you pace on it. John says Rutgers. And you all both are correct. That is the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. And you almost got 3 out of 4 this week. Old Vanderbilt. Old Vanderbilt.
Went the wrong way on Vanderbilt, that 50 guess.
Old Vanderbilt got you there. So 2 out of 4, you are now 404 hitting on there. So that just means that maybe we need to break out, make it a little harder as we move forward, right? Isn't that what that's supposed to mean? Right?
No, that's not what it means at all. Don't
listen,
Ricky Bobby.
If John says those last 2 were so easy that even he knows them, is that a Spartan? No, it's a Scarlet Knight, Paul. Rutgers Scarlet Knights. And I actually think that's a good logo.
I like it.
This one, though, actually, I think the Penn State one is actually that's a legitimately good one. Alrighty, you ready for a little play clock?
I am.
Would you like to ask or answer?
I will ask first.
Alrighty, I'm ready.
A few of the Big Ten teams, and then again, take this for a grain of salt, but a few of the Big Ten teams are complaining about the amount of travel that they have to do to go out to the West Coast for their football games. In fact, all of the games that teams have traveled from Central to the West or East to the West Coast, they have resulted in losses. So I ask you, what's your take on that? Do you think teams have a right to be upset? Is this expansion for these conferences becoming a little bit too much?
Yeah, I mean that obviously was the case when it came in. I mean, it was like the craziest thing in the world that, you had game day this past weekend, California and Miami, because nothing says ACC game like California and Miami. It is not as big of a deal in football, but you're going to feel it in like women's soccer or volleyball, where it's the one-off games that only take a little bit of time, or those midweek like women's or men's basketball games where
the Thursday night game to UCLA.
Yeah, and that's going to be really difficult for these teams to deal with, without question. Leroy, you get to bring back one celebrity to life. Who is it?
Gosh. Of anybody. Oh, Jesus. No, I'm just kidding. Robin Williams. I'll go with Robin Williams. I think it'd be pretty cool to have him to bring him back. So I'm going to go with my answer of Robin Williams. First of all, with the political scene the way that it is now, he'd have a field day. Second of all, I don't know. I think it'd be really, really cool to have Robin Williams back.
I was expecting you to go like Cobain or something.
Yeah, and today's John Lennon's birthday, and I was thinking about that too. And out of all of the
Not
places,
George?
No, nothing wrong with George. George would be awesome. Heck, bring back Kobe so he can score 40 more points in the game, 70 more points in the game or something.
I think it's an interesting question.
All right, you ready? I know, Paul.
Bring it.
You ready? So Sam and I belong to a place that sends us job updates for jobs that are open, and a lot of them are ridiculous places like the middle of nowhere. But today's
Kansas,
and that's why I'm going to talk to you, because in the place that you can go where you're not a member, it refers to a Midwest sports director job. So I ask you, Sam, what states do you consider as the Midwest?
I mean, I'd assume that, like, I'd probably count Kansas as Midwest.
Would you?
I mean, what else are you going to call them?
The Plain States?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. I've never really put that much thought into it. I mean, maybe Kansas like split halfway down the middle, where you get like half in Plains, but half kind of in the Midwest and so on, because like Missouri's Midwest. But then you get a lot of people ask Kentucky. What's Kentucky? Is Kentucky the South?
I know.
Is Kentucky the Midwest? Is Kentucky the East? Is Kentucky their own region of their own, like the mountains? It's just kind of interesting. So I don't really know.
There was Jacob was very upset when I told him that the job opening was in Kansas. He's like, "That's not the Midwest."
This is something that has really puzzled me for a while, Leroy, and for honestly years now. And I feel like no, Wyoming is not the Midwest, Paul. Wyoming is not the Midwest. And I feel like you're the person to answer this, Leroy.
Oh no.
I mean, literally, I think for at least 20 years this has bothered me. I know in your kitchen you have something that is known as a refrigerator, right? I assume you have one of those, right?
I do.
Why is it that when you open up the fridge, there's a light, but when you open up the freezer, there's no light?
You know, you could give some answer about how refrigerators are gone into way more than freezers are or whatever. But even in like a deep freeze, there's no light at all. So that's not a good one right there. I'm going to go with, you don't go into your freezer at 2 a.m., but you definitely go in your fridge at 2 a.m. for something to eat. And when you don't want to have any more lights on in your house, you still want to know what you're grabbing when you're in the fridge.
You don't eat ice cream at 2 a.m.?
No, I do not. I know some people do, but I do not have ice cream at 2 a.m. Mainly because my house usually doesn't have ice cream because my kids get to it the second that it becomes available.
It's something that I've pondered for a while now. And I don't really know why. That's probably the actual reason, John. The lower temperature messes with the... But I feel like it's 2024. Like, haven't we thought... Like, we haven't thought this far ahead yet?
They have lights in Antarctica, right?
Yeah. We're whipping through this, though, today, Leroy. Making it a quick show. I think we're both kind of tired. Are you tired?
I'm very tired.
Don't you love that, like... And, I mean, we're both kind of off work right now. Don't you love that you're almost more tired when you're not working than when you are?
I hate it. I hate it.
It's the wildest thing. Like, I mean, today I've been productive. Like, I washed my car. I cleaned up around my house a little bit, did a couple of things. But I haven't worked as hard as I would on a...
No, but, like, I'm home, right? I've been home since Friday the 27th. Like, I should be able to have some nights, and I know I'm going to be home tomorrow. Like, I should have some nights where I can stay up till 2, 3 in the morning playing video games or whatever.
Well,
11:45.
I have enjoyed it. That it's funny because I still have my PlayStation app for some reason. And it's funny because I only have like 3 friends on the PlayStation because I only had it for a specific period of time. And you're one of them, Leroy.
Yep.
And it's funny because you're the only one that pops up on my notifications of whatever you're... So it's like at random times throughout the day, I'm like, oh, Leroy's playing PlayStation. Oh, Leroy's playing PlayStation. And it's always really funny when it's like 11 o'clock at night and I'm like, ooh, he's up late. Past his bedtime. Paul asks the Mount Rushmore of baseball managers. Sparky. Lasorda. See, it's so tough.
Leland. I'll throw Leland in there.
I mean, Dusty only won 1 title, though. Bochy. Connie Mack. He's got to be on there. La Russa.
Lasorda.
Yeah, I mentioned Lasorda.
Lasorda, yeah. LaRussa, yeah, sorry, LaRussa.
So the
Bobby Cox. Bobby Cox has got it. But Bobby Cox only has 1 World Series win. I know it. I know. Listen, I love Bobby. I consider him one of my favorite managers. But if you're talking about all-time greats, yeah, you got to put him up in there, though.
Joe Torre.
Joe Torre with the Yankees was fantastic. This is hard. That's a hard one. I don't think, that would take longer than 40 seconds, my friend.
Yes. And it'd be tough to have only 4. And I know that that's part of the game of doing the old Mount Rushmore. That's why I prefer to do the Mount Rushmore of potato chips or something and make Leroy look like a clown when he mentions freaking Sun Chips.
Fritos!
But if it was Mount Rushmore, you get 4. You're putting your damn Sun Chips on there, aren't you?
No, I told you. I told you those.
No, but if it's a Mount Rushmore, you get 4 options. So you're probably putting those crappy chips on there, are you not?
No, because y'all hate them. I'm not putting them up there.
Yeah, as we should. They're awful. As we should. I have a friend who said that she liked him, and I was like, I don't know that this can continue now. Like, I feel like...
See?
I mean, Christy, you're on our side, aren't you?
See, we're everywhere.
Christy, okay, Christy, are you pro or against Garden Salsa Sun Chips?
Oh, she hates them.
I knew I liked her better. I knew she was on
these corn Pringles like corn chips are my new favorite.
Pringles corn chips? They're not sweet. They're not sweet corn Pringles, are they?
Yeah, sweet corn ones. They're
Those
fantastic.
are the green in the green can?
No, they come in like a yellow.
Okay, I don't think we're talking about the same ones because we opened those on our show one day and tried them. They were sweet corn Pringles, and they were without question the worst thing we've ever tasted in our life.
No.
It was unanimous.
These are in a yellow. I'll find a picture of it and send it to you.
Here, I'm gonna even like Google this, and can you check Facebook right now or no?
Yeah, hold on. I got you.
Let's see if I can find the sweet corn. Oh wait, elote Mexican street corn.
Yes.
Okay.
You need to try the Mexican street corn if you haven't.
They're different.
Those are fantastic.
These are the ones here that I'm sending you right now that I hope you have not tried, because I am like legitimately they're terrible. They're absolutely terrible. I'm just trying to send it to you right now. Okay, there it is. You're getting a backslash in there too. Okay, I just sent it to you. The ones that I'm talking about that are they're awful. Like they're so bad that they are in our studio, our old studio.
So,
we have like a shrine of random things, and it was so bad that it made it onto the shrine.
So I tried one, and it was if I wanted to eat corn, I'd eat corn. It was fine eating one. I'll never go out and get the actual thing.
The sweet corn Pringles?
Yeah, it was fine eating one, but I'd never go out and buy them myself.
Not great. Not great, Bob. Not great, Bob. What is good is it's time for the pick contest. Again, Paul, you just joined us last week. America, 100%. 8 out of 8. 8 out of 8 was the America's result. I got 7. Leroy got 5. So the standings are myself 35, Leroy 31, America at 29. We head into this. Leroy, I'm sorry. There's no Coug game for you to pick this week. The Cougs are off.
What am I going to do?
If you want to pick Cougs against the bye week, you can. But I don't think anybody wins the bye week. Both teams win the bye week because the broadcaster wins the bye week too, because I get a Friday night to kind of do nothing.
What are you going to do with yourself?
So I'm actually... So here's a problem that I have, and maybe he's watching. So we've talked maybe about Zach. What is up with your taking shots at me? Howard, come on, man. It's not been good. It's not been good, Howard. It's not been good. It's not been good. There's no other way to put it.
By the way, so as long as we're quickly talking about football, NFC North, all above 500.
I mean, it's still trash. Let's be real. Caleb Williams is in that division. They can't be that good, right? But so Zach, who works with me at the station here, I know we've talked about that, and he does games in E-Town, which is about 25 minutes up the road. And he asked me, he said, "Hey, they're doing like a tailgate show." And he says, "Hey, will you come up and do it?" And I was like, I don't know. And he says, "My color analyst is doing a shrimp boil." I was like, I'm there. So we talked about it. Today I confirmed that I was going. 5 minutes later, he says responds back, "Well, actually, he's not coming now. So there's no shrimp boil." And I was like, "You mother trucker." It was like, "You got me there on the shrimp boil. I don't care about the game that's happening." So now I'm having to go. But I'm not getting a shrimp boil. So I'm going to be grouchy, Leroy. As I should be, though, right?
Yes.
If you were promised a shrimp boil and you're not going to get a shrimp boil,
if I'm promised a crawfish boil or a shrimp boil, boy, there better be.
And he's like, "I'll feed you." I'm like, "What you're going to feed me is not going to be as good as a shrimp boil." So, okay, I'm glad that I have a reason to be grouchy on Friday evening. Who calls it a shrimp boil? What else would you call it? Just a boil?
They don't have shrimp boils down in Georgia. They have like actual seafood boil.
Listen, we're hillbillies, Paul. You got to remember that. Christiane likes shrimp?
No, she doesn't.
Missing out. I like shrimp.
That's what I say.
And when it's got the potatoes and the sausage and the corn and the crab in there maybe too.
Right, my friend.
He just calls it a low country boil. I don't know.
Who's more backwoods, them or you?
Yes. We're backwoods in our own way. You'll eat fish, but not shrimp or crab. Really?
I told her I was going to get her some crawfish, let her suck the heads and eat the tails. But
Yeah, you gotta slurp the brain out, right?
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
That's the best part.
What about lobster?
So good.
Mm-hmm. Lobster?
Yeah, buddy.
Now, Christy, will you eat crab if it's like a crab cake where it's already been like processed for you and you don't know that you're eating shrimp or crab? Because I didn't know if it's more of like the look of it being like a creepy crawly that's making you. Nope.
I don't know. We went on this cruise and we got like all these like exotic foods, and she was being like such a stick in the mud. She wouldn't try any. Here I am eating octopus and all kinds of other shark and all kinds of other cool stuff.
I'll try anything once.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll try anything once. Now, will I eat it a second time? Maybe not.
Which food is the grossest food that you've ever had? That's normal food.
So you're saying of something obscure that I've had that I didn't like.
Right.
Huh. Do you have an answer? Mutton.
Yeah?
Mutton.
Okay.
You had mutton?
I have not.
Mutton. Yep. That would be
liver was going to be my answer, but
I've never had liver. Never had it. Mutton. That would be my answer, though. So Owensboro, which is, an hour from me here, they're like the mutton capital. So when I was there, I had like I got like a sampler, and I'd always heard about it. So I said, okay, it's a sampler. I'll try it. I couldn't finish it. I was like, if
you ever talk to Dave Klimola, ask him about lutefisk. So lutefisk is like a Swedish, Finnish.
I've heard about this. Yes, my parents were just there and tried it.
Yes, well, my grandparents are very well when they were alive. Were very, very Finnish. I mean, their parents were born in Finland. They moved here, so lutefisk was something that they would have often when my dad was growing up. If you want to make my dad's stomach queasy just by mentioning one word, that's all you got to do is say, so Dad, Dave, tell me about your experience with lutefisk. And, he will share a lot with you.
Have you had blood? I've never had blood sausage.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't sound great. I've never had gizzards either. Have you had gizzards?
I don't mind gizzards.
I don't know that I've ever had those. Tripe? I've never tried
turkey,
tripe.
Though. I've never had chicken. I've had turkey gizzards.
You like Rocky Mountain oysters, though, right?
Ball testicles or bull testicles?
Uh-huh.
I haven't had
I always love James Corden. When he was on, he did the whole where they had they spun it around. Did you ever see this? They did. I can't remember what they had the name for it, but he had a bunch of disgusting foods on the table.
Oh, yes.
It was on like a Lazy Susan. Yeah. It would spin around, and one of them was like bull testicles. And he would ask a question, and your choice was to answer the question, or it was to eat whatever was in front of you. So like cow tongue or bull testicles or whatever it might be. And I always loved the questions. Like one of them that I remember was, name all of the cameramen in this room right now. And it was just really funny because Corden was like, I am an a-hole because I don't know the answer to this. But would you try a Rocky Mountain oyster?
I'd try it once.
That would be the one that I asked the comment section now. Would you try a Rocky Mountain oyster if given the opportunity? If you knew it was like done the right way.
Yeah, what if you didn't know that it was?
Yeah. See, like if you went to a place that specialized in Rocky Mountain oysters.
Specialized.
Yes. Like if Gordon Ramsay made it for you. Would you try it? And you say yes.
Yeah, I would, yeah.
Yes. I don't know. It's like Christy shockingly says no.
Surprise.
Shockingly says no. Yeah. Okay, we've gotten way off topic now on foods that we would not try and would try and everything with that. Paul says probably.
Well, you needed something to stall the show. It was going way too quick. You got your answer.
It was. Yeah, no, it was going a little too quick. No Coug game this week. America and myself both get to pick Taylorville's game of the week, though, Leroy.
That's true. Then I will be, at least right now, I will be on the call on Friday night with Tim Zalback calling for.
Is your lovely wife driving you?
She is not. Tim's driving me, so we a little bit
driving
Miss
Daisy.
Yeah, a little bit of a better situation, but I'll sit in the back seat and make fun of the driver or something. I don't know. You're driving a little bit too slow there, Sonny.
Mm-hmm. Taylorville and Mattoon, or how do you say it? Mattoon?
Mattoon, which is home to the, and I've told this story before on this podcast, but I'll share it again. It's home to the very first Burger King. And it's not Burger King like Burger King. It's a separate Burger King. And in fact, they ended up taking the real Burger King to court, and they won their lawsuit. The Mattoon Burger King won their lawsuit. So there is not a real Burger King that's allowed to be within 35 miles of Mattoon.
Sounds like a good place to be.
Like they get their own really good food. If you're ever in Eastern Illinois, stop by Mattoon, stop by their Burger King. They've got fantastic food.
I do not like regular Burger King, so I will definitely try that. I'm picking Mattoon in that game. Christy is picking them as well. The Green Wave. America, make your pick for this game. Again, the majority of America is where we head if you're picking Taylorville or Mattoon in this contest. And then we'll head on to UK. Paul is taking the Burger King. So he's not taking the Green Wave. He's taking the actual Burger King to play the game and win. So he's taking Mattoons. That'll probably be America's pick for this week. Yep. Everybody is rolling with them in that one. Is that the right pick, Labor?
I don't know. It's a must-win for Taylorville. Because they beat Effingham last week, they're actually in the playoff hunt for the conference title. So there's a lot of teams that are sitting at 1-2 and 2-1 in the conference. So Taylorville needs to win. I don't know if they'll be able to on the road.
Hostile environment. How far of a trip is it?
It's about a 45-minute drive.
Oh, that's not too bad.
In one straight line. Go on Google Maps and look, and it's literally just one straight line.
So the Massey ratings, which is a computer rating, since all of our picks are in, and I made my pick beforehand, it says Taylorville 28, Mattoon 26.
Yeah.
So it's saying a true toss-up game there. Kentucky hosts Vanderbilt on Saturday evening at good old K. Roger Field. I'll go with the Cats.
No way Vandy can win twice in a row, right? I'll go with UK.
Are you okay?
Yeah, my stomach's bothering me a little bit. I'm all right.
Okay. We'll rip through this quickly. John's picking Vanderbilt. If you blow chunks, can you at least... Do I need to turn you off camera or something?
No, I will go off camera if that happens.
Okay,
I promise you.
I hope not. Christy, get him a trash bag, please.
If the screen closes, just wrap things up.
Mm-hmm. I'll just kick you from the studio. So we have 2 picks for UK, 1 for Vanderbilt. So Kentucky is the pick for that one. Leroy, on Friday, Northwestern travels to Maryland.
Of course they do.
Because who doesn't want to watch that game?
You said that's Friday night?
Yep, that's what at least ALEXA told me beforehand. So you will not be able to watch this game. I will though, because I'll be off. So maybe I'll watch. No, I'm not going to watch that later. I'm sorry. I
don't subject yourself to that.
I don't hate myself quite that much. I am going to take. It's 7:00 Central on Fox. I'm going to take Maryland. Who do you got, Leroy?
I'm going to hate myself, but I'll take Northwestern.
All right. John takes Maryland. Howard takes Northwestern. Paul takes Maryland. Leroy's taking Northwestern. And it seems like America is on the side of the Terps. Tomorrow evening, the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers host UTEP on ESPNU. Leroy, who you got?
Go Tops.
Agreed. I'm taking Western to defeat UTEP. They're breaking out the big red helmets. They're not
The
losing that
eyes.
game. They're not
No.
losing that game. They're
What
not.
do you think of those helmets?
Oh,
I
they're
saw some people
phenomenal.
hated them and some people loved them.
And they have hats with the eyes on them too.
Do they? I gotta get a hat. I gotta get a hat.
Shut up and take my money.
I gotta go get a hat.
Name the price. Name it. I will buy it. And
I'm taking my sweater off. I'm not throwing up. Hang on.
Oh gosh. Leroy's blowing chunks. My goodness.
No, he's not. Just hot.
Bengals on Sunday Night Football travel to the Giants.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Oh God, I hope the Bengals win. I'm going to take them.
How must win is this game for Cincinnati?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Do you need your wife?
No.
Okay. She's asking if she needs to go up there. Howard's taking the Bengals. Who are you taking? Not wrong, Leroy. Not wrong. Not wrong. Not wrong. Not wrong.
$30 hat? Ugh. No.
John, this doesn't answer my question. You don't get a happenstance in pick contest. You have to make a pick. You picking the Giants or the Bengals? Who are you picking?
I'll go with Cincy. And go down with the ship.
John's picking the Bengals. So we got 2 for the Bengals. Paul and Christy, if you'd like a pick. I guess it doesn't matter because then it would go to us. We both picked the Bengals. So America is going with the Bengals. Leroy, the Bears host the Jags.
Bears. So I'll tell a story about this really, really quick. A few years ago, when Nagy was still
I am picking the Bears too.
When Nagy was head coach, the Bears waited till Friday to head to England. I forget who they played.
Oh, that's right. This is London game.
But they got absolutely stomped. And come to find out that the team that they played, it might have been the Jaguars. I don't remember who it was, but whoever the team that they played got there on like Tuesday. And they were already acclimated to the time. They were already ready to go, and they trounced the Bears. Well, this year it's flip-flop. The Bears got there super, super early, like on Tuesday, and the Jaguars are flying out tomorrow morning. So a little bit of a different dynamic. Hopefully getting there early will help Chicago out. The Brisker's out of the game, most likely. He's got concussion, so he won't play. But it's the Jaguars. It's Trevor Lawrence. I'm not worried. I'll take Chicago.
In surprising news, Paul Reese takes the Jaguars.
Go figure.
But he also took the Giants as well, so he just wants to go. John takes the Bears, so we have a tie as of right now. If somebody wants to break that tie, they can. If not, it would go to the tiebreaker, which would be it's really a 50-50 share, Paul. It's really a 50-50
Spencer Rattler is starting for New Orleans this weekend.
Howard breaks the tie and says the Bears. I did see that. My first game of the week is Ohio State traveling to Oregon and notable Big Ten rivals. Leroy, who you got?
Ohio State has been talking trash all week, and actually all summer. Ohio State's been talking trash about Oregon being fake and all of this stuff, not being a real Big Ten team. All the same, we've been talking about traveling out to the West Coast. And team's not ready for it. I'm going to take Oregon with the win because no team has traveled to the West Coast yet and picked up a win, and I don't see that changing on Saturday.
I agree. I'm picking Oregon. Go Tyler Luster, right? Or how about this? That worries me. We're all on Oregon. That worries me. Congrats, Ohio State. You just won the game. Leroy, your first game of the week.
My first game of the week, the Detroit Lions head to Dallas to take on the Dallas Cowboys in what actually, on paper, looks like a very, very close game between those two franchises.
I'll take the Lions.
I will also go with Detroit.
We got a lot of lot of unanimous here today. That kind of worries me. So again, the pick is Lions at Cowboys. Lions at Cowboys for a pick for this one. I'm trying to find my other one here, Leroy. What do I want to do here? You know what? I'll drop this one in here. Okay, Lions appears to be America's pick for this one as well. Oh, wait, we got a Dallas one in there. So if Paul does Dallas, he does say Dallas, but it's a tiebreaker, 2 versus 2. Goes to our tiebreaker, 2 votes for the Lions. So it heads the Lions is America's pick. Marshall, Leroy, travels to face the Fighting Paul Reeveses of Georgia Southern.
Yay.
Marshall at Georgia Southern. Do you want me to just put you down for Marshall?
Yeah.
I was going to say, I knew you'd pick Marshall. You know nothing about either team. Georgia Southern could be 35-point favorites, and you would not care. Who do I want? Do I want to be a troll too? Marshall at Georgia Southern? I can't pick the herd. Go Georgia Southern. Paul will be there, Georgia Southern, in his booth. So Georgia Southern is one of America's picks. I just wanted you to get an opportunity to talk some crap about Paul.
I mean, I don't even know what their mascot. I mean, what are they? The Eagles?
Yeah, you're right. Eagles. You're right. Georgia Southern Eagles. I will say that Marshall's a 3.5-point favorite. So,
come on, Marshall, Randy Moss. Be real here, John.
Okay, so we have 1 vote Georgia Southern, 1 vote Marshall. And Leroy, while you're doing that, do you want to find your final pick of the week?
I've got it already.
Okay, go for it.
Number 1, Texas heads to Oklahoma to take on number 18, the 18 Sooners.
This is the neutral site. This is at the Cotton Bowl. Texas.
The number 1 team actually winning a game? Let's see. I'll go with Oklahoma just to try to gain some ground on you.
I like it when you pick the same thing, though, as me, because so Paul's taking Texas. We do have to flip a coin, though, because Paul and John are split on this. So we're just going to have to go to either George or Ringo to break the tie. But I guess since George is dead.
Yeah, we'll have to go with Ringo.
Call Richard Starkey.
Normally I'm at work and I have a coin, but I don't have a coin, so.
So what are we going to do? Marshall heads, Georgia Southern tails?
Yeah.
Alexa, flip a coin.
Okay, flipping. It's heads.
Heads. So that's Marshall. I don't know if you could hear that or not, but it was
barely.
Marshall is America's pick of the week for that game. So I'm the only one going with Fighting Paul Reeveses. Looks like we have 2 votes for Texas, 1 vote for old Oklahoma. So it is Texas and that. Leroy, I hope you continue feeling better. Good luck on your appointment, mañana.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm 11:10 tomorrow morning with my ortho, so hopefully I get some good
specific
news.
Time.
It is very weird. 11:10, very weird time.
Not 11:15, not 11, 11:10.
No, it's like Cubs game starting at 1:20. Just a very unique, very odd time.
Just to be different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, good luck. Good vibes.
You know I'm not going to get in there until like 11:35.
I mean, what else do you have to do tomorrow?
Nothing.
Yeah. Video games, right?
I know it.
We'll see you next week on next week's edition of From the Pressbox. Leroy, hopefully you don't have to go puke.
No, we'll see. I'm all right.
So maybe PT starting tomorrow?
Huh? Yeah, it's either tomorrow or first thing next week. It'll be one or the other, but I'm definitely not looking forward to it.
It'll help you. It'll get you better, though. We'll see you next week on next week's edition of From the Pressbox. Leroy, have a good night.
Thanks, bud. Talk to you guys later. Have a good night.